Hey everyone, welcome to Star Atlas Dowcast. I'm Dowcaster, your host, and today we're speaking with Xcode, the founder of the Deep Profits DAC and a project manager at Star Atlas. So we'll be diving into both of those topics, but welcome to the show, Xcode. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Tony.
Awesome. Well, first of all, it's really, really great to have you on here. I originally reached out to you to speak about Deep Profits because I was really interested to hear about your DAC, and then you've had some life updates since I reached out, I think.
Minor life-altering updates. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, so we're going to get into your position at Star Atlas and all that, but I guess just to start, why don't you kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about how you kind of, got started with Star Atlas, even if it started as like you as a fan, and how that morphed into starting a DAC and being involved with Star Atlas full time.
Sure. Yeah. It definitely started out with me being a fan. But I feel like I'm late to the party. I learned about Star Atlas midsummer of this year. I think the posters were still on sale and the reward snapshots hadn't been taken and stuff yet. And I caught on to the idea and I really liked it, but didn't read the white paper and didn't really dig into it and just waited to see what would happen with the posters. And that project turned out to be a huge success, and it really caught my attention. And so I started digging into what Star Atlas was a little bit later in August, and got really excited about the ship launch when it happened, and was getting all caught up in the beginning of the boom of Solana NFTs. So I spent many days sitting in front of broken websites, clicking buttons furiously, watching Sol get drained from my wallet and nothing being given in
Yeah.
return. So that that quest for those original mint NFTs was what got me interested, and in the Solana ecosystem as well. And so that's basically where I started. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I definitely had a similar experience where the beginning of Solana it was fun, but right, like the Wild West. And it was finally nice to find a project like Star Atlas that kind of came out of nowhere but had all this legitimate backing in terms of it wasn't just like some token with a white paper, right? It was plans to make a full game, and then now they're coming out with all these partnerships, and it's like, oh my goodness. Okay, well, I think we all knew this was a legitimate project before, but now it's just becoming confirmed more and more every week. So you started a decentralized autonomous corporation, or DAC, called Deep Profits, and that is no small endeavor. So what brought you to being a fan, or from being a fan of Star Atlas to deciding to go down this road of forming a DAC?
Sure. Okay. So what I started was a very small Discord server, and it was supposed to be a branch of um, of Signal Profits, which was another Discord that I'm part of, and there's lots of guys talking about trading and stuff in there. And I thought, rather than fill this Discord with um, all this talk about Star Atlas, it might be nice for a few of us who are really passionate about it to have a place to talk. So I started my own little Discord server. I think there were 6 people in it, and
Nice.
the idea there was just like I'm a software developer by trade, and the idea was I was noticing patterns in some of these NFT launches, patterns of websites going down and traffic being too much, um, and so while the front end user experience was terrible, the smart contracts on the back end were still functioning, and people that could interact directly with the smart contracts would kind of have this advantage. And so I started learning about how to do that, how to mint tokens, and how to interact with these smart contracts behind the scenes. And then the really neat thing about the Star Atlas launch was that they were launching with a DEX backend, right? So you could go and you
Right.
could place orders on the Serum DEX if you had the right, we'll call them cheat codes, if you had the right market IDs
Sure.
for the ships. And so actually the Interstellar Alliance had, and one of their members, Blockchain Man, there, he posted how to do that, and I kind of latched onto that and spent the day that the ships were launching teaching people how to put those codes into their browser and how to order ships on the order book. and we grew into a community of about 50 people in the first couple of days,
Wow.
and every single person was just super grateful that they had this chance to buy these ships, right? And they
Sure.
were happy to teach other people and all this stuff. And so from that original group, I've we've picked people who have stuck with us and want to continue to teach people about these things, and we've latched on to the idea of being a DAC, even though that's not what we started as. We just started as a community that wanted to help each other. So the whole idea of being a DAC or a DAO was fairly new to me in the summer. I missed DeFi summer. I was totally out of. I was not. I had taken a break from crypto and was
Yeah.
not participating in that, and had only just got back in the spring to look at what new tech had come out. Um, so we went from being like this ragtag group on Discord to having, 100 or 200 members, and the cool thing to do is become a DAO. So we've really started to dig into that and look at how we can align with what Star Atlas is doing and becoming a decentralized gaming system, essentially a blockchain-based decentralized gaming system, and how do we proceed with that as individual investors or gamers or whatever? How are we going to be smaller DAOs inside of that ecosystem? So that's kind of something we've latched onto and are pursuing right now.
Yeah, and that's something I want to say too. I actually really appreciate because so there are DACs out there that I genuinely think are have formed to make differences in people's lives and to latch on to this decentralized, idea of Star Atlas Universe or Star Atlas Metaverse. And so I'm not like bashing any of these other decks by any means. I do love a lot of them, but something that I do love about yours is it's called Deep Profits. Um, there's no secret that you guys want to make money and you want to help others be smart with their investments. So something that you guys say on your website is that your goal is to educate your members about the risks involved in crypto and DeFi, research and develop profitable strategies together, and strive to grow a mature and passionate user base. I mean, you can't just expect that everybody that's going to get into Star Atlas is just blindly playing the game because they're either a passionate gamer or they love art. Like there are people here who right now, because there's no Unreal Engine 5 game yet, like you're not trading on this mini game because you're having a blast. You're trading on it to make a little bit of money. And so I just wanted to say that I really appreciate that you guys are there saying, "Hey, we're called Deep Profits. We want to teach you safe ways to make money because ultimately you will be making money playing this game, right?"
Yep, yep. And that original vision, that was something I came up with because I saw a lot of pump and dumps, and I saw a lot of
Oh, don't get me started. You just triggered me.
like, do you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
space is filled with scammers and it's filled with pump and dumps, and it's like I just want to teach people how to make the best of what they have, right? And that is the foundation to that is not FOMOing into stuff that you don't know about, right? It's
Right.
not taking your life savings and throwing it into crypto and then
Yeah.
having Bitcoin melt down 25% in one day. It's not that.
Oh my God.
It's like look at risk management and look at what you want to get out of this game or this community or whatever. And it's like make informed decisions, understand the mechanics that you're getting involved in, and read the white papers together. So we've done a lot of that together as our guild. It's been about like, what is the profitable strategy this week? Market's doing X, what are we going to do, right? Ships are doing whatever, what are we going to do, right? So we keep an open
Right.
discussion about that. um, and it's turned into a really unique community. There are more crypto people, I think, in our community than in a lot of others.
Yeah.
Um, like, but I can see us growing and adopting new people, and especially with the DAC component, like we want to grow and adopt different types of user groups, and then give them the same kind of advantages that we have, right? Like, look at your risk management. Should you really be buying that $5,000 ship, or should you be taking the $500 one, kind of thing? I don't know.
Right. And it may be even a better place instead of a gamer going to a gaming guild. It's probably best that they go to a guild like this where you're teaching them how to be crypto savvy, right? Because they already have the gaming down. Um,
Like you can be part of our guild and another guild. I'm totally okay with that. You know what I mean?
are there limitations? Do some guilds put limitations on that? Is that a thing?
I'm sure that they
I think
will
so.
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
especially the way that the wallets work, like
oh yeah,
your
that's
wallet
right.
is going to be your identity in the metaverse kind of thing. So we'll see how that all plays out. Um, but so when I say our guild, what I mean right now is our public Discord is open to everyone.
Yeah,
And
correct.
yeah, as we fall into different gameplay or different different mechanics, then there may be limitations. But for now, everybody's welcome to come and join, unless you're a troll or a scammer, and then you're not welcome.
I mean, you're welcome, but you'll be kicked out very swiftly. Okay, so something that I'm excited to get to in conversation with you is the Star Atlas roadmap and kind of what's coming up. But I do want to talk about a couple reasons why Deep Profits is a really really cool DAC, and kind of highlight some of the really cool areas in case anybody that's listening or watching wants to join your DAC or is looking for one to join. There are some cool benefits that I've kind of seen from you guys that you offer, other than obviously anything we've already talked about would probably perk my ears as a new player to say, oh, well, they're teaching me how to be safe with money. I'm going to look into them. But there are two things that I noticed that I wanted to bring up. One is that you guys have your own marketplace on your website. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. You mean the NFT marketplace?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the beginning of creating Deep Profits, I had this idea that I wanted to encourage artists to join us so that we could talk about how to design ship skins together. That was something that I
Yeah,
thought was super cool. And I'm not an artist, but I love looking at different kinds of skins. And
sure.
I've worked in film and television as a colorist and as a stereographer. And
Whoa,
so
very cool.
yeah, I've worked with lots of really high-end 3D graphics designers, and I just love watching them work. And I want to invite that kind of and cultivate that kind of culture at Deep Profits. And so I can do the tech stuff. I can make NFTs. I can mint NFTs till the cows come home. I can't draw a picture to save my life, right? So
It'll look like
um,
Gary V. Friends drawings. It'll be like
yeah,
cartoons, elephants, and stuff.
yeah, sure. Um, so the Metaplex market that we created um, was because I wanted to give artists a sandbox to create NFTs in, and some people have done that, and that's been great. Um, the Metaplex marketplace has been it's been really well done by a number of other companies and other businesses and stuff. And so if you want to create NFTs, there's lots of places you can do it better and easier. But
Sure.
I needed a place to create NFTs myself to use as fleet passes for the Fleet Pass app that I was building. And that was kind of a Hail Mary. It was like, what is a piece of this puzzle that is missing that me as a software developer can build, right? And
Contribute. Yeah.
yeah, and that's how Fleet Pass came about.
Yeah, let's talk about Fleet Pass. I sorry to cut you off, but it's really really cool. And I know you're going through a pretty major update of it right now, and constantly working on it. But and feel free to continue the thought on like how it ties in. But Fleet Pass to me is phenomenal. Like every DAC should be using it.
Yeah, so I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So it ties directly in because the way Fleet Pass works is it uses the NFTs that we create in this marketplace. You distribute them to the members of your guild or your group, and Fleet Pass follows those NFTs along the blockchain to your wallet, and it looks through your wallet for Star Atlas related assets, for Atlas, for Polis, for posters, for structures, for all those Star Atlas related things, and then it makes a total. It tallies them up by total by their market MSRP value, and then it does that for every single person who's holding the same Fleet Pass that you are, and it groups you into a group, and we display that as a guild in the list on Fleet Pass. So if you're a guild owner, you buy a bunch of Fleet Passes, you give them to all your members, and then now you get this total of what your guild has in asset value, ship value. We made a nice fancy dashboard for it, so you can see on nice cards how many ships you have. We're implementing posters we're implementing collectibles and all those things. But it's been, there's been a lot of transition in my life lately, and there's been the front end guy I have has been super busy too. So we'll see. I've got some ideas about how to catch up with that, and won't go into any details now, but yeah.
So in a perfect world, right, in a perfect world with Fleet Pass, I own Dowcast Industries DAC. I could buy some NFTs, distribute them to all of my members, and them just sitting in my members' wallets, I can have a dashboard that says, okay, I'm ready to take on Final Frontier. They're doing too many giveaways. They're too nice, whatever. I'm just kidding. And I want to just take them into battle. Ardo, don't hurt me, please. And so I know that I have, 50 Calico Guardians. I've got 30 Rainbow Ohms, and I've got 20,000, Pierce X4 bikes or something like that. And I know I'm ready to go into battle or something like that, right? There are obviously more use cases, but having a full inventory of your entire DAC.
Yeah, that was the idea. And it was
so cool.
It was done because I know that Star Atlas is going to get there eventually. They're gonna implement that. But this was born in November, right? And it was like, we can do it now. We can have fun and speculate now on different guild sizes and who we're going to partner with and what our assets look like. And then the next component, like after we get through the ships and all the assets, I want to make Fleet Pass kind of a tool to measure your political viability in the metaverse, right? Like how much polis do you have compared to these other fleets, and what does that mean as far as voting goes? That's kind of another area that I'm really interested in, and I want to make stats on and statistics on so that people can go, okay, we have this much polis, and that means we have this much voting power in our sector or whatever. So that's all like super far down the road. We've got stuff coming on the roadmap that you mentioned about polis it's coming shortly.
That's a really good segue. So right now we're gonna switch over and talk about your direct involvement in Star Atlas, but you have all these ideas of things you want to do. I mean, if this is not, I'm not going to cut this out, but if this is not something that you're able to share, you can just say, I don't know, we don't have to share it. But do you think that you'll be able to contribute to these as Star Atlas initiatives, or are you thinking that you want to do them externally?
As far as what's on the roadmap, you mean?
As far as what you just said, as personally, like, yeah.
So that's a good question. It may be that doing it inside of Star Atlas gets the product out faster to everybody, right?
Sure.
And there's that option. It might also be that we're focusing on ship missions and we're focusing on the showroom and on all these things. And I'm sitting up at night with spare cycles and go, this would be a neat evolution of Fleet Pass, and I have the time and like I was saying, I may hire other people to do other components of Fleet Pass.
Sure.
It depends.
And it's cool to have something that's yours. I mean, no offense to Star Atlas owning it, but there's some ownership there that's really fun, I presume.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fleet Pass was really, like I said, like a Hail Mary kind of thing. Same with Deep Profits. It was like, there's a lot here, and there's a lot more here than just buying and selling ships. There's like when you start reading the white papers, you realize that and if you listen to Michael on the town halls, what he's saying and what everybody is saying that everybody needs to listen to is that we are the ones building the metaverse. And you sitting here listening to this podcast can build something, and if it's valid and if it's legitimate and if it works, like, it may very well become part of this metaverse, right? You build it to this specification that we're building on, which is this, Solana blockchain, Web3 technology. Like, it could very well become a piece of this metaverse. And so I heard that and I believed it, and it was a good thing I did, because that was what gave me the motivation to build the thing. It was like, okay, if you're saying I build something and it's good enough, it'll be useful in this context, and it was that, and then a lot more, right? It got the attention of the team eventually, and which is how I ended up getting this position as a project manager. So for people who are like sitting on the fence about whether or not to do this, like do something, come here and build something. and be part of this. Like what you're doing, Dowcaster, and what other community content creators are doing is really like carving out the foundation for everything that we're building together, right?
Totally. Yeah. And it feels like it. The community is so strong that we can feel that, like I know that other people like Ashes and Atlas Theory and Moonman and people who post consistently and gosh, there are other ones that I'm blanking on. But of course, who I've talked to, the community is so strong. We don't feel like this is in vain. It feels like, and not for personal gain, it feels like what we do is one, appreciated and actually helping people. But I do want to dig in a little bit. You are a software engineer by trade. You built FleetPass. You are clearly really, really comfortable and, may I say, fluent with coding on the blockchain. But you're a project manager at Star Atlas. So tell us about how they noticed you, how you were invited to kind of interview, or what that process looked like to work for the team.
Sure. So I have worked. I am a software developer by trade. My original vocation was technical support, and that.
Hey, same here.
Yeah. So I did that for a number of years, and that morphed into doing DevOps and being a Linux system administrator. So
very cool.
And I've done hardware. Like I've built lots of different hardware projects from scratch, kind of thing. Anything from compact 3D cameras to enterprise servers kind of thing. So
very cool. Okay.
That is where the majority of my skill set lives. I moved into software development to get out of the stress of DevOps. And so I went from a senior manager position in DevOps to a junior software developer role. And I did that for just over 2 years. And I worked in test systems development and worked with Python a lot. I built a little robot that, manipulated some cameras and flipped switches and did all that. And then I did
nice.
Front end testing and stuff. So I don't want to give people this impression that I'm this like magical coder, because I work with brilliant software engineers and they are the ones with all of the skill. But what I do have is I do have project management experience. I have lots of like taking communities of people who are not familiar with the technology and making them, familiar with it and making it work for them. And I've worked on lots of teams doing websites. I have now a web hosting company that's kind of just taking care of itself at the moment, because that's what
very cool.
That's what websites do after you build them. So
that's true.
Yeah. So
anyway,
okay. All that to say that like I don't want to give people this idea that I'm this like rock star programmer. I work with rock star programmers.
You do, but you seem to be, and you don't have to. I know you're extremely modest, but you seem to be a very well-rounded asset to the Star Atlas team. So even though you're not a rock star programmer, you probably are a rock star employee with everything you offer. Probably.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it. Okay, so that is really, really cool. That's a huge background. Obviously, moving into Star Atlas, how did you get hired? I guess that's the question, right? I know not everyone's listening to say like, I want to work there someday, but maybe some people are. Hell, I'd love to work for Star Atlas. Like, how did you get hired?
So we'll back up to that trading group that I mentioned, Signal Profits. They do like a weekly live stream, and I was in one of their weekly live streams, and the person giving the stream said, "Hey, is anybody building anything blockchain right now? Anybody building any apps or doing anything?" And I had literally just launched FleetPass 2 days prior. And I put up my hand and said, I just built FleetPass, and I put it up on the screen, and they looked at it and they went, "Is this for Star Atlas?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I know the CTO of Star Atlas." It's like, "I can put you in touch with him if you want." And my head just about fell off my shoulders.
I bet.
Yeah.
Were you weren't job seeking at the time, I assume?
No,
okay.
Because I was basically, I like having your own business. You get to choose what you do and when you
sure.
and all that stuff, right? So
yeah,
I was very much self-regulating at that point, and was just really interested in Star Atlas, and I basically took a month or 2 months and just did nothing but build FleetPass. My wife thought I was mad scientist in the basement. She didn't know what had happened.
You were
And
kind of so.
I really was. And I was like leaving family get-togethers early to like get home and like do NFT mints and stuff. And like they had no idea what was wrong with me for a few
Yeah.
months. And then at
Oh
the
my
end of it,
gosh.
I came up for air and said, "Look what I built! Like I've got this thing." And they all went, "Yeah, we don't have any clue what that is."
NFT, what? Crypto? Yeah, no.
So anyway, so this so Signal Profits introduced me to Star Atlas directly, and I had a really great chat with Brave Target, and looked at their ideas that they had for where they want to take the company and stuff. And he offered me this role and said, like here's what we're offering, and this is what it's going to look like and everything. And I basically got off that phone call and went, I can like I don't have like, and this was never something that I had thought would happen. So
Sure.
I really had to sit and think about what the heck I had just done, right? Like
Talk to your wife and yeah.
talk to my wife, just my wife really, and say like, I have an opportunity now to take what I've built and like go a step further. Like it was not only did the mad scientist thing pan out and I have this cool app, but we've got this opportunity to build the metaverse, like to work with these people directly, right? So that's how that came out. And
Wow.
it was a bit of a long process. I think the team, they've been hiring and hiring and hiring, and there's all these new people, and so it took a little while, and that
Sure.
was difficult because all at the same time I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with Deep Profits, right? Like how would that impact the community that I was building, and all that. So I basically started looking through Deep Profits for leadership type people, and we hired. I say hired. We appointed a CEO. The financial director of Deep Profits, was given more control over the Discord server, and we but appointed a number of squad leaders, and delegated specific roles to them. And so really, we went from being this guild that I had complete control over to something where I just said, okay, guys, like this is ours now. Like,
Yeah.
take the reins, do the things you want. You
Keep the mission.
Keep the mission. The people that have been promoted have access to channels. They can create, they can delete, they can do whatever. And we don't have a DAC set up to make it official. So we're just going to do it as a community together and see how it goes. And it's been going really well since then. So
I love that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very,
but I couldn't tell
very,
them.
very
I couldn't
cool.
tell them what I was doing behind the scenes until I'd actually been hired. So again,
Yeah.
another kind of mad scientist moment. Like, hey, everybody, like it's all yours now. And then for a whole
You're like,
month, I
"What?"
had to sit there and wonder why I was, giving everything away, really. But
Sure. That makes sense based on the messages I was sending when I initially asked for an interview. You're like, yeah, some things might change. So hit me up in like a week. I'm like, all right.
and that week turned into 2, and that 2 turned into 4, kind of thing. But
hey, I was in no rush. Holidays hit me by storm, so I'm just happy to chat. Okay, so I wanna switch gears a little bit. We don't have that much time. I want to chat about the roadmap a little bit because it is pretty refreshed here. We've got some new things. We've also got some new names for things, which I'm really excited about. Well, new to me, so I'm going to ask, but I'm going to go through some of these, and maybe if you want to shed a little light, you can, or you can just say, yeah, that's all I can say. I'm excited for it. So some of this information that I'm going to be asking for may already be public. So if you already know this, I'm sorry, but I don't, which is why I'm asking. So the first thing to come on this roadmap is the first thing, quote unquote, to be finished or to aim to be finished is global polish. Can you kind of just like unpack what global polish means? Is that just kind of like tying up loose ends on everything you've published so far?
yeah, they're referring to score.
Okay.
And so global polish, from what I gather here, is referring to, we collected a lot of information and feedback over the holidays about what you guys liked about Score and what was difficult about Score, and we just want to refine some of the things that aren't working as well as they should. So there's lots of little bug fixes. Let's just say that there's lots of little
Sure.
bug fixes for Score to make it easier for new people and to make it like quality of life things for the everyday user. So I won't go into the details because I'm not sure
No, that's
what
fine.
time frame they are, but basically everything that was a pain point has been put on our development board and is being dealt with right now. So
Awesome. That's all players want to hear, I'm sure. Okay, and there are 3 other things I want to talk about. One, usernames is coming way quicker than I think people are expecting. Like, okay, so right now on the roadmap, it says that usernames is coming out end of this month, which basically means we will have a username that we can tie to our wallet, and that's what we can be known as. You would, of course, grab Xcode. Whoever's ever listening to this, don't take Xcode. Please don't take Dowcaster. I'm begging you. But is that something that are any of these projects ones that you're beginning to work on? I know you're still new at Star Atlas, but
yeah. So I don't have my specific projects yet. We're all just discussing them in general, and so there's I think there's 5 project managers now, whereas before there was only 2. And
okay, still, yeah.
So it gives you an idea of how much energy we're putting into individual pieces, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. As far as naming goes, I actually don't know. I don't know. So okay. The new roadmap that's coming out won't have dates on it. It will have priorities that come out in sequence, but I'm pretty sure that the idea of committing to specific dates will be removed from it. So as far as looking at the things that are there now, just imagine that there are no dates attached to them, and that the order is important, but as far as dates go,
I do like the and we'll reiterate here. The Star Atlas team always reiterates this. Santi and Michael Wagner reiterate this on this roadmap, which I will link when it's published below. These are only target dates, and this is such an ambitious project that if you are getting mad at them for not hitting target dates, I want you to take a really good look at yourself and ask yourself how many target dates that you've set and not hit. So just do yourself a favor, okay? So we'll do that. Okay, so what I really want to ask about for this roadmap, there's some really, really cool things on here. And as we look at this roadmap, and I'll share with you guys on the screen if I have an updated one for this episode. Some upcoming things that are really exciting are Metaverse usernames, which means that we get to choose a username that will be tied to our wallet, and the Polis DAO. Now, this is something that has been really, really highly anticipated. People have been waiting on. So Xcode, do you just kind of want to chat a little bit about maybe if you want usernames, but mainly the DAO and kind of how you guys are preparing for that launch?
Yeah, sure. So I'm still not sure how the usernames is going to work. If it's going to be through the Bonfida naming system or if it's going to be our own internal system, I actually don't know. So
okay.
I've gone ahead and registered some stuff on Bonfida just in case, specific to DAOs that I want to create. So I've registered a DAO called Vigilant.Soul, for example, and the Vigilant.
Oh, I see.
Name,
Bonfida, yeah. Not everyone. Do you want to do a quick tell people what Bonfida is real quick?
Sure. So Bonfida is that's a good question. What is Bonfida?
It's like the Ethereum name service, right?
Well, they do that, but they also do bots, like trading bots. They do their own take on the Serum DEX. So there's quite a bit there to unpack with Bonfida. But one of the core things they do is this naming service, so that you can overlay a Xcode.Soul name over top of an address. And so whenever you send Soul to Xcode.Soul, don't do that because it doesn't come to me.
Okay, I was going to pay you for this interview, but now I won't. That's fine.
No. So I've got this idea that I'm going to register. I've already started registering names for DACs that I want to do. So one of them, like Vigilant.Soul, is going to be a planetary defense fleet, right?
Ooh, cool.
So if the people of Deep Profits want to create a DAC where we invest together in our planet's defense systems, we're going to do them together under the Vigilant.Soul umbrella, and maybe we'll buy like a C11 and call it the Starship Vigilant or something, and then the carrier fleet below that will be what resources we manage and stuff. So anyway, cool. I'm going to take that approach, and I'll try and register my name, and people can register their own names. But
totally,
yeah. And then the Polis DAO part, that's the part I'm really excited about, because it's going to put the spotlight on Polis. And I know Polis hasn't been doing all that well as far as its price goes, but the thing that people are missing right now is that this is the governance system of Star Atlas. And if you want to have any say in how the future development of the game goes, you're going to need to be a Polis holder, and you're going to need to vote on things. And so having our staking contract for the DAO implemented is going to be really awesome, and it's going to put that utility on that token, and it's going to I'm very excited for that piece. Anyway.
Yeah, and this is not financial advice, but personally, I think people are going to be looking back in 3 years. They're going to be looking back and be like, you could have bought Polis at $5. Like, are you kidding me? You'd be, so that's just a thought. That's just a guess. Something I wanted to ask you about. So we're almost out of time. Both Xcode and I, we have meetings and things. So we have a time limit here. But one thing I wanted to ask about is that there is a new naming convention here on this, and I believe it used to be called More. Is that correct? Is this the same? Okay. And now it's called Cream. Would you mind kind of elaborating on the change and any other changes maybe we need to know about it? But that's coming up kind of in terms of the order of things being published. I'm really excited about it. So
yeah, for sure. So internally, the name More wasn't liked. It didn't do enough to describe the amount of features coming and the things that we're trying to do with it. So we came up with this term Cream, craft recipes enabled after mining, right?
Okay.
And the idea is that it's the crafting and mining system. And I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but you guys are gonna be blown away by the crafting stuff. Like cool. I've always been like let down by crafting systems that I've seen in MMOs. I've always wanted more. That was the part where I liked to spend my time, and I think we're going to do a good job of making that a really key part of the gameplay. And you're going to see the fruit of your crafting labor realized in other aspects of the game, essentially.
And a question for this too, it's going to be a browser experience just like Score is, correct?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
Okay, and then this is going to be the aspect of the game where it officially starts to matter what faction you're part of, right? Because wherever you are, what faction you're in, those are the resources you're going to be able to mine, correct?
We can confirm that later too. Yeah, that's
so
fine.
This is tier 0, right? So tier 0 may be limited in scope to only, and this is me, I'm guessing, right? It may be limited in scope to only the minerals that you could find that are common to different areas. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't go so far to say that it's a game changer and that you have to, like, where your faction
matters.
It matters, yeah. I'm not sure, actually. I can't really confirm that, so.
Okay, yeah, no problem. If and when an update comes on the timing of that, because that's something I'm personally curious about, I'll make sure that I update in the description of this video or podcast, so no worries on that one. That's why we ask. Wow, okay, well, there is a lot more to look at in this roadmap. I'm going to link it below, so if you guys want to take a look at what's coming, check out the roadmap. Obviously, when it's published, 1,000 people to retweet it, so just go on Twitter if you're not already. Xcode, this was really, really, really great having you on the show, and I'm really thankful for everything you shared.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks. I really appreciate you having me on and giving me a chance to talk to people.
You got it. Okay, so where can we find you on social and things like that? Are you Xcode on Twitter?
So someone much faster than me got Xcode on Twitter. So I'm Xcode_Delta. And on Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much. If you want to reach me, deepprofits.org. You can go you can find our Discord in one of the pillars of our links there. You can pop into our Discord, introduce yourself. Everybody's welcome. You can get me at xcode@staratlas.com if you want something a little more official. Cool. But I generally hand that kind of stuff off to the communications teams. So. And then in the community Discord, in the Star Atlas community Discord, I'm in there in the support channels mostly. You can ping me, you can DM me on Discord, and for now, anyways. While I'm still onboarding and still getting to know the ropes, I'm spending my extra time in there and just learning what the community, is expecting, and trying to be that bridge between the community and the developers. So,
Oh, take someone to speak the language, I guess. All right, Xcode. Well, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again.
thanks.
Thank you so much for watching this episode featuring Xcode from Deep Profits and the Star Atlas team. If you made it this far in the interview and you'd like to support this channel, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to hear more. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.